Welcome. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. On the program today, we're going to be recognizing Women's History Month, which is this month, in the month of March. And we have a very fascinating story that I think you listeners are going to enjoy. It's a simple tale, if you will, of a mermaid who one day gave birth to an iron butterfly who eventually realized her dream of leaving a country of disparity and loss and coming to the United States to realize her dream of a new life. I'd like to welcome to the Beyond 50 radio program today the author of the book, The Iron Butterfly. It's memoir of a martial arts master. Both our guests, Choon-Ok Jade Harmon and Anna Marie Rodriguez. Welcome both of you to the Beyond 50 radio program today.
Hello, Daniel. Hello. Hi.
How are you both doing today? Are you beating anybody up these days?
Not yet.
Not yet. Now, this was really a fascinating tale, especially in light of what we've been seeing happen in Japan with the earthquake and the tsunami. But back in your day, Choon-Ok, you actually realized sort of the same thing in the small fishing village that you grew up in. Tell us about how all this got started.
How you got started in growing up?
When I, live in a small island, only living around 100 people, and then, as I remember, really difficult that time. We don't have not much food around. We don't have any food in my house. So my mom, she's always go out looking for the food. And then sometime, she go in the mountain and looking for some food, or she go in the ocean, she looking for the food. She go in the dive inside the water, and then she bring some seaweed and so a lot of different kind in the ocean inside and bring. And then she try to sell, the making money, or she cook and we eat that food. And that time is a very, very difficult time, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember as I was reading about that this was usually a journey from the village to where she would actually go deep diving of about 3 hours one way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is something most people couldn't even fathom, especially here in America.
Yes, sir. My house in front is ocean. Behind is, little mountain, and front is ocean. And a lot of, our village of 100 people there, and then they, a lot of women going to looking for food. So very close our house, we cannot, my mom, she cannot found some food in there because so many people going, looking for food. So she's found some place, you can walk about 3 hours, and then not many people go there. It's a long way to walk. So she go there, and then she can find more food. She can bring home. Mm-hmm. So she's, she found us a spot, and then, every morning she wake up 4 o'clock morning, and she walk, 3 hours, and then dive, and couple hours, and then she bring home. She walk the 3 hours, come back, and then she, we have some food from my mom.
Mm-hmm. Now, these were very difficult times, too, because just to let our listeners know, your mother was in an arranged marriage with a father that basically really didn't contribute much, if anything, to the household at all, outside of a lot of aggravation, it seemed. And at the time that she was also fishing for the family to be able to feed them, which was an everyday occurrence, she was actually pregnant with you at the same time. And this is a woman that really, to me, seemed to have a lot of tremendous fortitude.
Yeah, my mom, she's a very, very strong mom.
No kidding.
Yes, sir. She's my role model. She is very, very, strong. And then, whenever she have energy, she want to take care of her children and go looking for the food. And my dad, he doesn't, really take care of the family. So mom, she don't have a choice. She have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, in your village, you didn't really have many opportunities, if any, to really attend school. Many children, especially here in the United States, usually by the age of 4, they're in a preschool of some type or whatever the case is. But you realized only a little bit of school, it seemed, that when you were about the age of 6. But other than that, you really didn't have much of a formal education in the beginning. Tell us about that.
Yes, my village is about my age, about 4 or 5 kids living there. And then we need to go to school. We need to walk about 1 hour, depending on the village. We need to go there and school. And then that time is, parents have to pay the school. The government, Korean government, that time they don't pay anything. So, the family, mom and dad, they need to pay the money to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And then, my other friend, their mom and dad work, so they have a little money to pay the school. But my mom, she work by herself and take care of the kids. She don't have any money to sending to school. So I asked Mom, I want to go to school, and I want to go to school. My friend, everybody going, and then I want to go. So she sending school, a couple months. She give a little money that I paid the teacher school, and then I went to school. And then coming back, I need to pay again, and my mom, she don't have the money to pay the school, so I have to stop the school. So I have a really hard time. I want to go to school. So many kids, they're so lucky they don't need to worry about to pay the school to go to school, But I don't have a choice, no money. So I have a big, argue with my mom, and she's yelling to me, we don't have anything, the money, we don't have even food, and I cannot pay the school, money to go to school. So I have, I have a hard time that time. So.
Now, Anne-Marie is on the program with us. You authored this book. Tell us how you came to know about this story.
Well, I am one of Master Harmon's students here in his school in Clear Lake in Houston. And one day her husband approached me after class and asked me, would you write your Confronting story?
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was surprised. I said, oh, well, that's wonderful. Let me see what she has to say. And we started meeting once a week at her home. I brought my tape recorder, my notebook, my pen. And we started a series of interviews when I realized the magnitude of her story, so unusual, so extraordinary. I said, yes, we're gonna write her story. We're gonna write her book. Mm-hmm. And it's been 6.5 years about that it has taken us to, get it all together and find a publisher, and we are very happy that it's finally published.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, as I was saying at the beginning of the program, this is a wonderful book, not just of a woman who persevered under what would seem to be almost unbelievable circumstances, but it kind of gives people around the world, especially in a place like America, an eye-opener about how difficult it can really be outside of the United States for people to raise families. I mean, we're talking about the 1950s, 1960s here, not too far back, really. And to see one person realize that I just simply have a dream of a better life. That's all I want than what I have right now. And to go through the obstacles that Choon-Ok has been through to achieve that level to where she is today, that must have been very inspiring for you.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, for me, I've never heard a story like that. And although I knew already Master Harmon for a few years that I've been practicing the school, she's a very private person, so I didn't know much of her story. And when we started talking, I realized all she has been through, and she never forgot her dream of, as you say, of getting a better life for her and for her children. And she, all her life, stayed patient when she couldn't do it, waiting for a better chance to achieve, a step forward. And she continues today. You meet her in person, and that's her attitude. The attitude is always trying to do better, always there's be a chance for whatever you want to reach somewhere. So it's been very inspiring. If she said her mom is a role model for her, I think she's a role model for every other woman that gets to meet her.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about your mom, Choon-Ok. Here's, again, an amazing woman, 3 hours one way to get food on the table, which was barely enough to eat for the children a lot of times, and she would actually go without eating. Now, she was involved in a tradition that the women of Korea had actually practiced, which I guess you could call them mermaids, but describe what that practice is of the deep sea or of the sea diving, I guess.
My mom, she's dive is summer, autumn, and winter and spring, and all the time she going to dive in the water, and then summertime and hot weather is not big deal, but winter time is very very cold in Korea at that time. But now too it's cold. And then she's going to dive and she's coming out and her hair have all the icicle, so cold, and she
wow.
Yes, sir. She don't have these days not that kind of clothes. She have a thin cotton top and short pants and noodle goggle and then a noodle knife. Only she had. Mm-hmm. And then and what she told me when I'm born and she don't have food and anything to eat. So anyway, she go underwater and pick up the food. And then after I born, 30 days later, nothing to eat at home. So she need to go again dive. And then she told me all that, and she coming out, and her hair is all icicle and all, that kind. And then when I'm 6, 7 years old, I'm sometime at home, I'm hungry, and I tell Mom I'm so hungry, and she grabbed my hand and she walked to the ocean, and she dived. Mm-hmm. She dived and she picked up the uni and all that kind of stuff, and she cut and she take out the and then put him into my mouth, and I eat that time. And sometimes, these days I'm going to Japanese restaurant, have a sushi. Uh-huh. And always so special things as uni. The uni, I don't know, some people they don't know what's the uni, but there's some, I smell the uni, and I remember my mom. Ah. Yes, sir. And she, she cut the uni and take it out, and she put it in my mouth, and you cannot believe how good is that. Mm-hmm.
Now, it's really, for the listeners out there, we're talking with Choon-Ok. Her autobiography, if you will, is The Iron Butterfly. It's Memoirs of a Martial Arts Master. Now, this was also a time, Father was in the house, but he tended to usually use any money that you may have had for gambling or drinking. Again, he didn't really contribute too much to the family, but in Korea, you can't just walk away from something like that. In the United States, why didn't she just leave him? But first of all, you didn't really get to choose who you were marrying. It was chosen for you, and you just simply had to take a back seat. That's just how things work. Tell us how that's different in America, besides the obvious, than it is in Korea for women.
My mom, she's born, and she have a 4 brother and 2 sisters. And then my grandpa and then my dad, they engaged and married my mom. They married. So my mom, she never see my dad. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know who's the guy because the parents, said marry, and she married. So she doesn't know what kind of personality and all that. But one thing she tell me, your dad is very handsome.
Well, that's always a bonus.
my mom, she's a very strong woman, and then but she's really she told me she's so curious about my dad. Would I marry the guy? And then she never see my dad, and person they will finish the wedding, and then that night she usually woman they don't look at her husband straight, but my mom she cannot wait, so she look at straight my dad. And then she say, you cannot believe it, he's so handsome. Mm-hmm. And then my dad, she's so spoiled. My mom told me he's so spoiled guy. Mm-hmm. Then first time she married, and he's okay, take care of all that. But 5, 6 years later, he start not take care, and he start drinking and gamble and my mom tried to stop that, and he started hitting her. And then after they keep going, and then children born, and he don't take care of the children, and my mom shouldn't have a choice. She have to take care of the kid, and And my dad, sometimes he gone, he never coming home couple, weeks. And then sometimes he coming home and she asking money. And my mom said no money, and then, he wanted money, so he gave a really hard time to my mom. And then, I don't know. You have to get in the morning. I start tears might coming out. I cannot talk, and I can talk to in the morning a little bit.
Yes, it were very, very hard times for the family, and even some of the friends of Choon-Ok's mom. I told her, but you don't have to accept this anymore. I mean, you have your children, you have taken care of them, but they even told her, why don't you give those children for adoption, and then you start your whole new life, and you are so strong physically and mentally, and you can achieve by yourself. I mean, you will have no problem finding a job, going wherever you have to go. You say, I will never abandon my children. Mm-hmm. She never did that. That for her, that was never an option. And she kept the family together, and I think in that way that gave hope to the children. Our situation is dire. We don't have food sometimes on the table, but we know that Mom will never abandon us, and I think that's one very valuable thing, and something that has, that gave Choon-Ok and probably all her brothers and sisters too strength inside. You can trust somebody, no matter how bad the things are, but you can count on somebody. You can keep on going. Mm-hmm. So that was very important to her. And even today, it's been years since Choon-Ok's mom has passed away, but for her, I know firsthand. It's a very live image. It's with her all the time. And I'm sure if there's something comes across, she will think about what would Mom do, what can I think about, that she would tell me.
Now, there's no doubt, Anna Marie Rodriguez, that in the book The Iron Butterfly, what comes through in the writing of Choon-Ok's story is that she certainly has a lot of her mother's personality. We're talking tenacity that borders on just unbelievably cute at times. And so then she, as her father had passed, it seemed like a whole new life was beginning to open up. Like her mom, for the first time, had choices. She didn't have to stay in that village no longer. They could go to a different place where perhaps there'd be more opportunities for the family to thrive better than they were in the village. And then that's when Kuk Sool came along. Now, this is a Korean martial art that I understand is at least several thousand years old. And to be honest with you, I had never heard about it until this book landed on my desk. Tell us about what Kuk Sool is, Choon-Ok, and how you first came to get involved in it.
Yes, Kuk Sool is a Korean traditional martial art, and then this art is 5,000 years. That
5,000 years. Wow.
Yes, it's a history, Korean history. From the bronze martial art and loyalty, and then family martial art. And then we have, a lot of not just kicking and punching. We do Korean traditional weapon and joint lock, meditation, all this kind. And then this is really good for everybody, but woman is really good too, because a lot of we do joint lock. Sometimes people grabbing your hand and grabbing your clothes. You know how to defend yourself. Mm-hmm. So this is really good for woman.
Now, when you first approached Chief Master, he was very adamant to say that when you get involved with this, you dedicate your whole life to it. You don't just go and dabble in it, and if you decide you're just going to quit, but this is something you really have to commit yourself to. But first you had to get by your mother.
Yes, sir. My mom.
Just because you want to do it doesn't mean Mom's going to let you.
No, my mom said, no woman, martial art, only guys. And then I saw the first time in a woman, training. Oh my God, I want to practice so bad.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom said, no, it's not woman, only guys. Your husband don't like you doing the old guy stuff. And the mom, I want to do this. Look at the other woman, they is doing really, really good. And my mom said, no. So I need to talk to my mom a long time, and I, keep bother her, and then my sister married one instructor, and then so he talked to my mom, and my brother, he's practicing kuksu, and then he talked to my mom, and then finally my mom say okay.
Mhm. Because you first discovered this when you were about 11 or 12 years old, but it wasn't until you were 14 that you actually got started. That's a lot of anxiousness right there.
Yes, sir. That age, you wake up with it's hard time.
Is that right?
I almost every day go there and look at the class.
Now, just to let our listeners know out there, in this Kuksul martial art, you are the highest-ranking female, or woman, if you will, who is in Kuksul. Tell us what that takes to get to that level, besides commitment.
What it takes to get to a ninth degree.
You need to practice every day, and then, you need to, tell yourself, you need to continue training. And a lot of time, you have a hard time, and sometimes, difficult, but I try myself. I'm not give up. I want to continue trying. I want to do, highest rank woman in Kuksul, and I made it.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes you have a hard time, and you have, really difficult time. Some people, easy to give up, but if you not give up, you have a goal, you can make that, someday you made it. I made it my dream.
And just to let our listeners know, it wasn't easy for you. I mean, for what seemed simple to most of the other students, you had to try over and over. You almost felt backwards, like you weren't very smart, so to speak. But you stayed with it. You made it happen.
When I'm, little girl, and I do a lot of stuff, and my sister always say, "You're so stupid. What come you don't do what I'm doing exactly?" And I try my hard. I try really, really hard, but I can't. I try, simple. Fold the clothes. I fold the clothes, and then my sister doing right side, I do left side. She do left side, I do right side. And my sister, "You're so stupid. Why you don't do exactly what I'm doing?" And I'm so cry, and then I ask Mom, "I'm so stupid. Why I'm not doing this?" She say, "You're not stupid. You're very smart. But some people, they learn slow. Some people learn fast."
Mm-hmm.
So she said, "Just patience. You can do it." So I listen to my mom, and I keep trying. Usually other people, they do, 2, 3 times. I need 10 times, 20 times.
But it worked.
Ending, I did it. I made it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you first had an opportunity, if you want to call it that, to test out at least what you had learned in the beginning when you were waiting for water on a mountain, and a very large Korean man who basically resembled a wrestler decided, I'm going to cut in front of all these people and take my turn when I feel like it. And you had something to say about that.
Yes, sir. Every morning we need water at our house. I need my mom. Always mom. I don't know why she don't tell my sister and my brother sending. She always sending me.
Because you were the baby.
Yes,
You may not be tough now, so I'm going to pick on you a lot more.
And then my mom say, go pick up the water. So I never say no to my mom. So I want to help my mom. So I went to one day. I need to go to the mountain and pick up the water. And that morning I went there, and then long line, really about 20, really old people line. And I go there, all the way back, waiting for my, my turn. And one big guy, huge guy, he's a walker come there and look around. And then he don't say anything. He just go cut front of the old people. So I look at it, I said, I cannot believe that guy doing that. Why he do that? He didn't come behind my line. Why he, cut all the old people waiting for line, 30 to 40 minutes, they, wait. He come to cut the front. So I went there. I say, excuse me, you need to go behind me. You cannot go front. And he don't even look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I touch his short. You need to go behind me. You not cut it here. And he say, go away. He pushed me to go away. And all the woman and guys look at me and look at the guy, and they don't say anything. And I say, if you're not going behind me, I need to do something. He say, what do you want to do to me? And he looked at me straight at my face.
Mm-hmm.
I using my Cook-Swan techniques. I one step back, and my two hand, open palm, my two hands, and hit his chest really hard. And he fall down behind his back and hit all the water pick out, what is it, bucket. Yeah, bucket. He lay down the bucket. He just stay there, look at sky, look at me. And then all the people, they look at it. They say, they come look at me, they look at me and they're really shocked, and they come look at the guy, and they shake the head. And then, so I don't say anything. I just go behind the line, and he stand up, he look around, and he pick up his pocket, he come behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell him, don't forget your manner. And then all the old people, everybody say, good job, you did a good job. But anyway, I told my mom that story. My mom was so worried. She said, you need to be careful. I'm worried about you all the time.
She also kept telling you to stay out of trouble, which seemed to be something that always followed you around, huh?
I don't want to make trouble, but
no, but it just happened to be there, and you just happened to be there with it.
You know what? And then next day I went there, and that guy already wait the line, and then I go behind him. He asked me, "Do you want to go front of me?" And I say, "No, I'm going behind my line behind you." And he don't say anything. He's really, really nice gentleman after that. So sometimes, that kind of happen is, they learn their lesson, I think.
I think so. And you also taught two other boys a lesson that they needed to learn, which was you don't touch girls when they don't want to be touched, especially where you decided to touch them. But what was interesting about that is that when they did this to you when you were at the beach is the fact that they had, and apparently males in Korea have this attitude that they can just pretty much do what they want to women, and the women just have to take it. But as they discovered with you, I'm not going to let this happen. I don't care what you guys think. And it didn't turn out too good for them.
Beach fight.
Oh, the beach, you talking about the beach fight?
The beach fight, yes.
Yes, sir.
2 against 1.
That one is, my sister and my brother and everybody, we went to, beach. And it's July, first week in July. The beach is so many people. And then when I finish it, and then we want to go home, and I'm up waiting for my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what happened, I just look at the people, and then one guy came and he grabbed my breast, and then he's run to the people, and I'm so shocked. I said, I cannot believe it. This guy come to grab my breast.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, I cannot believe this. So I ran and grabbing that. He doesn't know I coming to him. He and his friend, and then high five, and you did a good job, and whatever they're talking, and then I saw, I cannot believe it. So I don't think about it. I just ran to him and grabbing his shoulder and turned to my side. He looked at me, and I punching his face. And then that guy, grabbed his face, and then grabbing my hair. I have really long hair, my waist. He's grabbing my hair, and then I fall down the sidewalk, and then we do, looks like a wrestling. And then another guy jumping under me, and I grabbing him. I try kicking and punching that guy, kicking and punching, and looks like a wrestling on the beach. My sister looking for me that time, so she cannot find it. And then she looked around, and she saw so many people looking the fight. So she said, "Let's go see what happened." So she came to looking for me, and she said, "Oh, that's my sister." And she cannot believe it. So she coming and tried that the guy, break the fight, but that guy not letting go my hair. And then you know what she did? She jumping in grabbing his arm, and he start bite.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tell me she bite so hard, and his skin stuck in her teeth. And then anyway, that guy is not letting go my hair. So all the instructor in kicking and punching and knife hand, all that, and then they break, and then we separate. Mm-hmm. But this is a long story, but anyway, we got him and put him in the jail.
Ah, I bet they won't be doing that too much anymore.
They better not do it again. That time, you know what? A lot of Korean women, the guy bothered them. They just let it go.
Right.
They don't say, they talk or whatever, but they don't do anything. So they say the guy says really bad luck because they're touching me. So they need to go to jail.
Mm-hmm. Now, Choon-Ok, your dream again was to have a better life than you had as you were growing up. You found Kuk Sool, which is a Korean martial art, 5,000 plus years old. That was sort of your vehicle that made this change happen. And so the next step is you were interested in, and was it possible for you to find an American man, to get married, and to live in America, and to realize this dream? Tell us how that unfolded.
You mean to marry my husband?
Exactly.
Yes, sir. It's a long story, sir. That I practice Korean martial art, and then a lot of Korean women practicing, and then they practice couple years, and they really really good, and as soon as they marry, they stop. They not no more practice, and then I ask you, why you stop practicing? You're so good, And they say, their mother-in-law and father-in-law say, woman, no martial arts. You marry, you need to take care of your family. So I said, oh, no, I don't want to stop my training. Mm-hmm. So how I know I married a Korean man, and my mom making me stop, I think. And then, I know my husband, side mom and dad, they say, no woman practice. I don't want to stop practice. I want to keep training. And then I think about it, and then one day I went to watching the movie, American movie, and that movie made me wake up. That movie is always woman first and guys next. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think, wow, I can have maybe practice and continue. I married an American man. So I asked my teacher, I want to continue training. I don't want to stop. But I know I married a Korean guy. I need to stop because it's family all that. So I want to marry the American man, and then I want to continue training. And then he say, okay, think about it. And then his brother at that time in United States, and he teaching Kuk Sool, and he have a student, the American student. And then he, I asked him, can you pick up my husband? Whatever you pick, I can marry. I know I trust you. And then you pick a student. I know that guy is very, very, trust. Mm-hmm. So he picked his instructor, and then he saw my picture. He said he really like it. Mm-hmm. And they're sending his picture, and I like him. He's a very handsome guy, but he have big nose.
Yeah, that's what your mother said.
Yes.
And he was short and he was skinny. He wasn't like the American men that you had envisioned, which was big and tall.
Well, anyway, we married 30 years right now, and we have, really, beautiful two daughters, and, we very, very nice husband. But that time, I don't know him. I just want to, continue training my, kuksul.
Mhm.
So my teacher and his teacher make orange Mary, and then I came to the United States 2 weeks. I'm married, and we training together, and then we have a business, and we do a demonstration together, and then we have a beautiful 2 daughters, and then we married 30 years now, and I'm so happy I married the American guy, and I come to the United States, and then my dream, when I'm a little girl, I tell myself, if I'm growing, I'm adult, I don't want my children are hungry, no cold. I'm never, I work really, really hard, and then my children are not just like me right now. You know what? I'm a little girl. I always think about that.
Mhm.
My dream come back to true. My children are never hungry, and my children are never cold. And then, my 2 daughters, she's a little girl. I cook, cooking all the time. I made the food. And then I like the rice. I cook the rice. I give the rice, and sometimes they're left over. I have a hard time to throw away the rice because the rice is so special.
Right.
When I'm little girl, in my dream, I want to eat rice, and I cannot throw their rice. They're left over.
Mhm.
So I tell you cannot eat. You don't throw. We need to save for later. My church said, no, I don't wanna. I say, okay, listen to mommy's story. I tell my story that when I'm a little girl, I'm so hungry, and only have a rice. I have my birthday and New Year. Other than that, we don't have a rice. And then I told my children that they're so surprised. They say, wow, Mom, I cannot believe it. So anyway, my dream come true. My children are not cold, not hungry, and I had to continue training my martial arts, and then together with my husband. So I'm so happy that I made this Iron Butterfly book. Thank you. Really, really thank you very much.
Yeah, well, the beauty of the story too is that you're married to Barry Harmon, an American man. The both of you actually have a school together in Texas. What does it take before you can actually open your own school? You can't just know this kuksul a little bit and just open up a school. There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, that you really need to achieve before that's allowed to happen.
Yes, sir. I came to the United States. First time, I don't have any money. My husband, he don't have any money. So we work maybe 8 months, and then save little money, and then we borrow our instructor money, little borrow, and then we open school. And then, we just work. We work hard, really, really hard, making save money, and then we pay back my instructor. And then that time, my goal is we pay back my instructor 3 months, and we eat only chicken soup and rice. Mm-hmm. And, we not spend any money, the same money to pay back our teacher. Mm-hmm. And we made it.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating. Anna Marie, could you tell us, you're a student of this school, is that correct?
Yes, I'm one of Choon-Ok's 300 students, active students in this school in Clear Lake in Houston.
Wow, 300 students. That's amazing. Talk about making a dream happen. And writing this book, I'll bet you pass that same inspiration on to the others who seem to struggle, who have that attitude that maybe this just isn't for me, I'm going to quit, How does that parlay into the students who may kind of, feel these kind of things?
Well, I think before the book came out, or they didn't even know anything about Master Harmon's story, they see her in the school every day. She teaches, and she oversees every other classes, so they are used to seeing her here. And sometimes, when she teaches you can tell, you can see her perform, you can tell that she's really a master. It's you can see her elegance, her precision. It's just beautiful seeing her perform. Mm-hmm. And I think after they knew her story, and many of the students have already read it, they are really amazed at what she has accomplished. And many ladies have told me, well, I cannot believe my life was so sheltered. Look what Choon-Ok has gone through. I don't have the right to complain what's happening on my life. So, and actually gives them the strength to fix whatever things don't like about their life. We know the story of a lady that she is very shy, and sometimes she has to help her parents to deal with the landlord and things like that. But she's so shy, she doesn't want to confront this man. And after she read Choon-Ok's book, she said, I read your book, and then my parents had problems with the landlord. I decided to go talk to him. And she said the things clear for her parents and helped them. And she felt so happy about this. I mean, I could do something that I thought I would never be able to do. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just, if Choon-Ok's story just inspires people to realize that they have more inside them, that they think they cannot do something, but they really can. You just have to set a plan, set a goal, and work toward it. Be patient. Doesn't happen the first time. Like she waited 2 years until her mom allowed her to practice martial arts. I mean, you never know. Maybe now is not the time for you to do it. Maybe circumstances will change later, but never forget your goal and keep preparing and working toward it. So I think that if people take that message home, together we aspire the book to be entertaining, to have drama, to have humor, but also to pass along that message, because we believe that it's especially valuable for women of all ages. You don't have to take anything bad in your life. There's always ways to fix it. And especially in this country, it's even more possible than anywhere else.
And also, as a side note, just to let our listeners know that as this marriage was arranged and that Choon-Ok was getting ready to come to the United States, that was no easy feat. They wouldn't stamp her visa because there was an ongoing habit of the United States of foreigners coming into the country simply to marry just to have American status, but not really for love and a relationship and to make a family. And it took a good year or more of convincing before she was allowed to get stamped and come to America. So talk about learning patience as well.
Yeah, that's true, although the marriage was arranged, but I will say it was an arranged, very well thought, and that time they have to wait to meet each other and to finally get married. They corresponded. They sent letters back and forth, and they got to know each other. And if you read some of the letters that are in the book, you see in the responses, they really fell in love through those letters. So it might have started as something that, this, as a plan, but then after they get to know each other and see each other's honest feelings, they started to fall in love for true. So, and what other proof you want? They've been married for 30 years. And I bet they'll till the end. So sometimes things start in a certain way, but things change and you develop true feelings for the other person, and they have worked together all their lives, and they're doyan, raising their daughters and training together. So it's really, really a good couple also to see as a model.
Well, I've got an interesting question for you, Choon-Ok, is this. In the 30 years that you and Barry have been married, have you ever gotten into an argument where you said, let's just take it to the mat? And did you use weapons if it got that far?
Oh, no. He would respect my husband, and he gave really respect to me. And then, we living together sometimes, we arguing that, and then we just talk, what you did it, what I did it, whatever we talk, and we fix it. We're not just fighting and going to throwing each other like that.
I thought of that because there was a martial arts movie I remember watching as a teenager. The man was Chinese and I believe the woman was Japanese. They got married and they spent most of the movie trying to fight each other to see which martial art was better, and then in the end he had some kind of a death technique. And I'm like, okay, I guess that works.
If we sometimes argue a little bit, we don't want to front our children, and then children go to school, nobody house around, and we talk. I feel bad because you did that, and he told me I feel bad you did this, and we talk each other. So we try to not argue front our children. The children, they need to be happy to see both mom and dad. If you show that you're arguing in order front the children, they're learning that from their parents,
Very agreed. I know that's something, especially in a land where 50% of the marriages end in divorce. They could take a lot from your story about just how to govern oneself and to learn how to not just have self-respect, but to respect others as well.
Yes, sir. So try, if you're upset, angry, not argue in front of your children, not around the children, and you can talk. Because I saw when I'm growing, my mom and dad, really terrible. You look at it, I still don't remember. I don't want to give my children that kind of memory.
No, not at all. The book is The Iron Butterfly. Our guests here on the Beyond 50 radio program, Choon-Ok Jade Harmon and Anna Maria Rodriguez. Tell us about your plans for the near future.
My future? I want to continue training, sir. I'm 55 years old. I want to maybe 40 more years, good health and training with my husband. And then, I want to see my grandchildren. Just normal other people.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure to have both of you here on the program, and I noticed from some of the pictures that you have in the book that it seemed to, and I don't mean to be offensive, but Barry must have grown into his nose.
You know what? Person I met, he's 125 pounds. And he don't have that much meat. Skinny. Only I see the big nose. His face so skinny. And now he's almost 60 years old. He little bit gained weight. His face, so his nose looks like a little smaller than the first time. But still, he looking good guy, and I love him.
Again, thank you both for being here on the Beyond 50 radio program. And if you can, do you have a website people can find out more about your school as well as your story?
Yes, go to the Iron Butterfly website, which is www.womanironbutterfly.com. So it's www.womanironbutterfly.com. And from there, you can go to many other links and learn more about Choon-Ok and her story and her school.
Yeah, it's interesting to note, too, and I just wanted to pass this on to you just sort of as an interesting side note. In the Northwest, we have salmon. And my wife, for the life of her in the beginning, could not remember Choon-Ok's name. So I said, well, just Choon-Ok. And that's a type of salmon that's up here in the Northwest.
Well, we'll keep that in mind when we
Did you know Choon-Ok means Korean?
I believe it was jade flower, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want to tell you, Chun means spring, and Jade means Ong means jade. Spring jade.
Oh.
The meaning is spring jade. And my mom gave it my name. My dad, he didn't give it this name.
I just found that an interesting parallel. I just wanted to bring that up because salmon actually are very persistent as they come upstream from the ocean, so they can start a family just as you did.
That's right.
There's something to think about. Anyway, thank both of you for being on the Beyond 50 radio program today.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you very much. We thank you, the listeners out there, for joining us. Again, the book is The Iron Butterfly. It's a memoir of a martial arts master. Fantastic story in celebration of Women's History Month. We encourage you to visit us at our website, which is beyond50radio.com. That's the number 5050. Sign up for our free weekly e-newsletter as well. We'll have an archive of this show, the Iron Butterfly show, that is, for you to be able to listen to at your convenience as well as share with others, and I do encourage you to do that. I'm Daniel Davis. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Beyond 50 radio program. Remember, live your day past halfway.